Winky, Winky, Humphrey, Humphrey, go hamsters! Woohoo! All right, we are going to finish chapter 4. I split it up, if you recall, and I only read part of chapter 4. I had a tickle in my throat, and it was a long chapter, and I wanted to spread it out a little bit, so I did. All right, so here we go. If you recall, we have Humphrey who is spinning, but his car is caught up against the, that's right, blocks. Good job, blocks. Anybody know what blend makes the bull sound? That's a blend is two letters which separately say a different sound, make a different sound, but when they're put together, smashed together, kind of like a sandwich, they make a new sound. So bull is the B, letter B, along with the letter L, bull, bull. Kind of a fun sound to make. Anyway, so he was caught up against the blocks. Then, what did he do? He was such a problem solver because remember his whole big thing was do my best. Just like we've talked about, we always need to do our best. Whether it's the winner or the best in the whole class or the best on the soccer field, doesn't matter. As long as it's our best, it's our best. That's what is important. All right, so what did he do to solve his problem since he was stuck? Does anyone remember? He had a problem. He made his own solution, and the solution to that problem was... very good. He got out of his car and he started running, which is pretty smart. One smart cookie hamster. All right. And everybody's screaming, go, go, everybody. The cheering gets louder and louder. He raced for the finish line. Banners are waving above him. Then he looks up at the wooden block and he sees that Winky's car was just inches. Here's an inch. That's too big. Here's an inch. So if you take two of those, probably about that much. Just that much in front of him. Kind of like when you guys are racing on the playground and you're running, and you're right behind each other. You're like inches apart. So he sees Winky's car is inches ahead of him. So he ran as fast as he could, and he passed Winky's car. And the finish line was right in front of him. So he sprinted. That means he went super fast. One last big push of energy past the finish line. And then he thought in his brain, I have won! Woo! Humphrey, Humphrey, Humphrey. The crowd cheered. So what do you think? Do you think he won? Let's check it out. Mrs. Brisbane scooped me up and held me in her hand. Quiet, everyone, Mr. Morales said. I should read that with his voice. Quiet, everyone, Mr. Morales said. Since he is the most important person at Longfellow's school, the crowd quieted down. Humphrey crossed the line first, he said, but he wasn't in his car. This was a hamster car race, so I think Winky is the winner. No, I heard some students say. Winky was the first hamster to cross the line in his car, he said. But Humphrey was so smart, Golden Miranda said. He knew he was stuck and he still found a way to get to the finish line first. Mr. Morales nodded. That's true, and I'm proud of Humphrey, but I still think that Winky won. I have an idea, another voice said. I knew that voice. Aldo stepped forward. What if we call it a tie? Mr. Morales thought for a moment. What do you think? Would you call it a tie? Who do you think won? Winky in the car, or Humphrey running. Who would you call? Let's see. Well, Mr. Morales thought, we could do that. Suddenly, everyone began to cheer. Tie, 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 tie. Mr. Morales raised both hands to quiet them down. All right, he said. I think we can call this a tie.
Is that all right with you, Mandy?
They both did a great job, Mandy said. They just got to the line in different ways. So I do think it's a tie. The cheering was so loud it hurt my small hamster ears. Humphrey and Winky will each receive a first place certificate and a box of hamster chews from Pet-O-Rama, Mrs. Brisbane said. Oh, I love hamster choo-choos. The crowd got noisy again, but Mr. Morales raised his hands. We have one more contest this afternoon, he said. Oops, I gotta go back.
We have one more contest this afternoon. Longfellow School has 2 classroom frogs, so we're going to have a frog jumping contest.
Boing, 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 I heard Og say. So here's the first place certificate. It says first place. There's the first, it's like got a ribbon. And here are the hamster choo-choos. Kind of sounds like a choo-choo train. Choo-choo, but it's chew with a with a, which one is that? Nose picker. Ew, 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 chew. Okay. Let's see about this frog jumping contest. The crowd cheered. George is the classroom pet in Mr. Loomis's class, he said. Og is the pet in Mrs. Brisbane's class. We're going to place them in each... I'm going to start over.
George is the classroom pet in Miss Loomis's class, he said. Og is the pet in Mrs. Brisbane's class. We're going to place them each at the starting line. The winner is the frog that jumps the farthest in 1 minute.
I remembered George. He was the reason that Og came to room 26 in the first place. George was in Mrs. Loomis's class already when she brought Og in. George is a huge bullfrog with a big voice. He didn't like Og, and he started making so much noise during class that Mrs. Loomis couldn't teach. She gave Og to room 26, and he's been there ever since. Boing, 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 Og shouted. I could tell he was ready for the frog jumping contest. Mrs. Loomis set George down on the starting line. Mrs. Brisbane set Og down in his lane. Og had a nice smile on his face. George had a mean leer on his face, and he was huge. Could Og jump farther than a great big bullfrog? Mr. Morales said,
Remember, no one can touch the frogs, but you can all cheer. Now ready, set, jump.
Mrs. Loomis let go of George, and Mrs. Brisbane let go of Og. Nothing happened at first. George sat on the starting line, and so did Og. Suddenly, George took a giant leap forward. The crowd cheered, but Og didn't budge. That means he didn't move. Go on, Og. You can win, I squeaked. Og still didn't move. Go, Og, go, the students chanted. Okay, so here's George. He's the big bullfrog. And here is Og, not budging. Let's see. I wonder why he's not budging. Maybe he doesn't understand what to do. What idea do you have? Or, maybe he's afraid. That would be definitely something. Maybe he's afraid that he won't do it right or something. And we all have those fears. Sometimes we're afraid that if we don't do something, if we stand up and do something, raise our hand or agree to do something, we won't do it right. So sometimes that stops us, or I don't know. What's another reason? Keep on thinking. I was worried until suddenly George let out a loud noise. Rum, 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 he bellowed in his deep voice, and then Og did it. I shouldn't have done that. Rum, rum, rum. He took a huge leap forward. He leaped past George, then he leaped again and again. Go, Og, go. Go, Og, go, the crowd cheered. Yay, Og, I squeaked. I knew you could do it. I wasn't sure he heard me until I heard him answer, boing, boing, boing. Even though everybody could see that Og had jumped the farthest, the students measured the distance. The winner is Og, Mr. Morales said. He will receive a jar of froggy fish sticks from Pet-O-Rama. Luckily, George didn't argue. Boing, 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 Og twanged. I want to thank all of you for our very first racing day, Mr. Morales said. I think Longfellow School has the best classroom pets in the world. Yes, I squeaked. Winky and Og were great, great, great pets. I tried hard to be a great pet, too. I'm not so sure about George. Later that day, Mrs. Brisbane made an announcement. This week, I didn't assign a student to bring Humphrey home for the weekend, she said. I squeaked. After all, I love going home with the students on the weekend. Instead, I'm taking Humphrey and Og home with me, she said. They deserve a great rest. I love going home with Mrs. Brisbane. I love it when Og can come too. The day had been full of surprises, but this was the best surprise of all. Doesn't that sound like fun, Og? I squeaked to my friend. Boing, 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 he replied. I knew exactly what he meant. Here they go. Off to Mrs. Brisbane's house. Super duper cool. So this tells us a little bit about the author. She wrote The Adventures of Madeline. She wrote Doug and Bobby's World. And she had a part in a movie called Merry Christmas. She's won a lot of awards, and she wrote The Seven Wonders of Sassafras Springs and The Princess and the Peabodys. She was born in Missouri, which is a different state than California, but now she lives in the state of California in a place called Los Angeles. And she lives there with her husband, and he is an actor. They say that movie stars get discovered in Los Angeles sometimes. So it says she had a lot of fun writing the book Humphrey. And he has, there's some more. Humphrey's Playful Puppy Problem. The World According to Humphrey is also for older readers. And I think there's some other ones too. So if you feel like you think this is a good series that you would like to dive into, I hope you do. Chapter books are awesome because remember we practice that visualization, we practice predicting, we practice remembering. The story goes on for a little bit longer than a picture book. Picture books are amazing, but a chapter book usually goes on for a few days or weeks, and that way we can keep thinking forward about what we're going to be reading. I am so excited that we have read now 2 chapter books. Whoa, that's amazing. You guys are amazing listeners, and I hope you're enjoying them as much or more than I am. Although it might be pretty hard to like reading the chapter books or hearing them more than I do because I just love them. I know that my dogs are always with me when I'm reading them, and they typically fall asleep, but not until the end of the chapter. So I know that that's always a good sign that, you know, it's keeping them engaged until the end. Yay! All right. So let's learn a new cheer today. It's called a hamburger cheer. I don't know if we've done this cheer in our classroom. Maybe we have. Things are kind of blending together in my brain here. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoop up some hamburgers. So dig in your bowl, get some hamburger meat. We're going to make some hamburgers. Now, if you don't eat hamburgers, pretend like that's a veggie mix or something because I love veggie burgers too. So scoop them up, make your patty, make your patty. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our patty and we're going to put it in the pan or on the grill. So we're going to put it on the pan and we're going to hear it sizzle. We're going to take a spatula with the other hand. And we're going to scoop up the hamburger. Pretend to scoop it up. And then we're going to say, is it done? Not yet. We're going to put it back on the pan or on the barbecue or the grill. I'm going to scoop it up. Is it done? Not yet. I'm going to put it back on the grill one more time. Scoop it up. Is it done? Yes. Well done. Get it? It cooks so long, it's well done. All right. Well, that was fun. Now you want to take a bite of your burger. So let's put our burger on our plate. Let's get out some buns. Put your burger on the bun. Put the other bun part on. I'm going to add some lettuce and some onions and some tomatoes and some mushrooms and some cheese. I'm going to put some avocado. Mine's really big. All right, now I'm going to pick it up and take a big giant bite. Sure. That's really good. And it's a special day, so I get to have a special drink. I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be some kind of sparkling water. So I'm going to take my sparkling water and I'm going to take a sip. Okay. Now, let's see. Uh-oh. Oh, at least I covered my mouth. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Had a little burp go on there. Sometimes when you drink fizzy things, it makes you burp. But as long as you say excuse me and try to cover it, that's good. It's not good manners just to burp really loud and not say anything because burps happen even at my house. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with our virtual hug. We called it a social distance hug because we have to stay away from everybody else and keep the world safe. So here we go. Reaching. Grabbing. Nice big giant social distancing hug. All right. And I'm going to remind you how much I love you. And we're going to say our positive affirmation again. So are you ready? Okay, here we go. I am smart. I am kind. I am honest. I am silly. I am brave. I am loved. Have a great rest of the day, you guys.